Welcome to a spark of awareness. We live in a time where we are constantly being stimulated, prompted by systems, by algorithms, by AI. But when we outsource our answers, we slowly give away our authority, our inner voice, our self-mastery. Conscious leadership has no shortcut, no hack, and it can only begin from within. It is the courage to stop escaping and to sit with what's alive and present inside, even when it's very uncomfortable. But that's where growth is. And this podcast is a space for that. This podcast is an evolution. And every week, I will share a 15-minute human prompt, live, non-performative. It is a moment of reflection drawn from my work in conscious leadership, from the journeys of the leaders I coach and accompany, and from what is moving in a collective film of what is humanity and leadership. I am Sophie Vaux, a conscious leadership coach and guide of transformation. I support leaders who are crossing the threshold right now from the old system of leadership, a legacy, into a deeper, more conscious way of being. If the traditional model no longer resonates, know that you are not alone, and that is your weekly practice. This is your time with your inner world. This is your weekly spark of awareness. Welcome. So welcome to a new spark of awareness. And this week we're going to touch on the fifth need, the core human need. As we were listing before, if you follow the episodes, you can go back to them. So the need for certainty, the need for uncertainty, the need for love and connection, the need for significance. And here we are on the fifth need, which is the need for growth. And all those needs, they are valid, they are very different, and they are at a different importance depending on people. So that's important for you to understand what are your core needs and how are they met. And like any core needs, there are also shadows of those needs when they're too present, pushed too far, or they are not in awareness, and that can cause unhealthy behaviors and also unhealthy leadership, which we are looking into here. So for that fifth need, which is the need for growth, I will share here that this one has been a very core need for me. When I look back at my life, and this is a good exercise for you when you journal, look at your past life, your 7-year cycle, your different phases of transformation, evolution, to see the patterns. And for me, because I grew up in quite a difficult situation with certain beliefs, certain story where life is difficult, life is hard, you grow, you die, basically. You have to achieve, you have to perform. I was raised to work a lot with growth, to grow a lot, to learn a lot. It's a mindset that has been cultivated very young. And that's what led me to achieve well at school, then later at work, career, also personal life. And I will share here also some of the shadows, but if you are recognizing yourself here, how do you know that this is your core need? You love to learn, you love to grow, you're not afraid to face difficult situations, big challenges, because deep down it really excites you, it activates you, because you know you grow each time you're going to face an extraordinary or a hard challenge. So for people who love challenges, who love to learn, who are not stopped by the amount of a challenge but are fed by it, then probably you have this core need of growth. So I'll talk here about when it's not brought to awareness, how it can also lead to unhealthy behaviors in the leadership. And I can speak for myself when there were some phases where I was so much driven by growth that it leaves all the rest behind. What is the rest? Could be personal relationships, could be relationships you build at work, could be staying long enough at a place to learn, to also grow through the test of time. But if you keep growing, and back to one of the needs I was sharing about this need for uncertainty, for novelty, then it can be unhealthy actually to go grow, grow, grow. And we see some companies also that grow, 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 because when there are very ambitious, very driven leaders who love growth, and sometimes they love growth more than they can see the pace of a sustainable growth that is needed by a company, it pushes everyone. So that's when it starts to become unhealthy, because you go by yourself, you go very fast, you go alone, but no one can follow you. And that applies as well for companies that are in hypergrowth or constant growth. It's very intense for the nervous system of an organization, and not many people can follow that. And so the shadows of that need is exhaustion. So when you keep growing all the time, there's no time to take a step back, to reflect, to pause, to integrate. And it's just new, learning, doing more. And it's actually quite ineffective, because instead of learning from repeating patterns, mistakes, then you keep doing the same things over and over again just because you want to grow and do something new. So that's one interesting to watch for yourself. How fast are you growing? How much growth do you need? Another situation I see for myself when growth is pushed too much, it's like, for example, learning. I have a tendency to subscribe to 4 or 5 courses at the same time, and I learn here, learn there, but I don't have the time to integrate. So I know many things, but they don't come through and they don't stay because I have too many things to learn at the same time. So I'm in the process, but over time I have learned how to pace myself and accept to focus on 1, 2 learnings at the same time, integrate, go deep, which is a good quality when you want to grow, not just thinking about volume, but about depth. And then next, waiting, being patient to go to the next learning. If you find yourself having a hard time slowing down in your growth, there's a reason for that. There's always an origin. There's always a source and a story of what shaped us. For me, that need for growth is a survival mechanism, because especially story of immigrants, the only way to survive was to grow. We came to France with nothing. We had to build everything, a new life, a new generation of wealth. So in my DNA, from very young age, if I'm not growing, I'm going to die. Not literally, but that's how it feels in my body. And so when I coach people who have a similar pattern, it's so hard for them to stop. If they stop learning, if they stop growing, they feel very insecure and unsafe, because who am I if I'm not growing? And of course, we should keep growing all the time. We are in constant movement, we are transforming, and more importantly, we are evolving. So growth is part of nature. But when it's overdone, this is where it goes counterproductive. So you can see for yourself where is that growth pushed so much that you find yourself exhausted, and that when you think for a moment, if I stop growing for a moment, if I take a moment to rest, how am I feeling? Does it create anxiety, or can I calm down? And if you find yourself feeling anxiety, then you know that this core need is there and it has shadows. So it's important to watch it. So how do you work with the shadows of the need for growth? So it's not about stop growing, it's about pacing yourself. So instead of growing every day and doing this and that and being in intensity over time, part of your growth, here you still be in the growth, can you integrate part of your growth, some time to rest, some time to integrate the learning, which is also part of growing? Can you dedicate some time to do nothing? Things will come up, you will feel anxious, you will feel a bit jumpy, because you don't know what it is of not being constantly busy and doing something and achieving something and growing something. If you sit with all the feelings that happen just by doing nothing for a short time, this is also growth. So, how can you reframe growth in your life that is not exhausting you and exhausting everyone around you, your system, whether it's an organization, a team, or your personal relationships? So, it's more balanced and sustainable. So, once again, nothing wrong about growth. Like any core needs, it has shadow, and the shadow always comes from fear. So, how can you be more honoring your growth from a place of love, self respect, self love, which is very hard? And I'm saying that working with many leaders, there's a lot of unhealthy drive in towards growth, hyper growth, and it's a competition with everyone because we are in this system where everyone wants to grow, 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 the next number, the next milestone, the next figure. So it's good to be aware. So, as usual, we're going to close this practice today with a grounded meditation. And if you followed my previous episode, I'm practicing these days a very simple technique of breathing that you can incorporate also for yourself, which is heart coherence breathing. So it's bringing to coherence your mind, your emotions, your body into coherence in regulation and in harmony together. So it's very simple, the rhythm: 5 seconds breathing in, 5 seconds breathing out, 5 seconds breathing in, 5 seconds breathing out. So we can practice that. So close your eyes, relax whether you sat on your chair or standing, and feel your body, ground in your body. And then let's breathe in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe in. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Breathe out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And let's continue. Breathe in. Breathe out. 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 And one last time, breathe in. Breathe out. And just observe how you're feeling in your body. And keep breathing normally, how it feels in your heart, in your chest area. Maybe your muscles feel a little more relaxed, less tension in the body, more presence in your body, less in the mind. Okay, and then whenever you're ready to come back, you can reopen your eyes. And we're closing this meditation for today. Thank you for tuning in, and keep journaling on the need of growth and practice. How can you pace your growth? How can you take it slower? And examine, if you are not growing, what are you afraid of? I wish you a great week, and I'll see you next week for the last need that will cover the need for contribution. Thank you for tuning into this weekly reflection, the weekly spark of awareness. After this episode, I invite you to take a few moments with yourself, even just 15 minutes, to sit with what resonated, to breathe, and to notice what is shifting inside. This is a practice, a discipline of presence, truth, and self-connection. If this work speaks to you, I accompany leaders in one-on-one journeys and group experiences of transformation, supporting them as they cross the threshold into a truer and freer way of leading and living. If you feel called to explore this path, I would love to hear your story, and let's connect. Sending you love and courage, and have a great week ahead. This is my spark of awareness.